Well, we're back for another episode, and we're sitting here with my messy desk with a number of things piling up. As is always the case, that's after a week of projects on my desk. I'll clean it again this afternoon and it'll be messy. Anyway, whilst I was sitting here contemplating when I'm next going to clean my desk, a live stream from Tinkerman Mick showed up, and Tinkerman Mick's a mate of mine, has been for years. We started our channels about the same time, but with different goals. He's just recently hit 100,000 subscribers. We're doing well. Yeah, in the live stream, which you'll see a little clip in a minute.
Dave's going to make me a brass play button. I'm going to hold you to that, the Aussie repair guy. I know he can make stuff metal casting. I'll hold you to that. That would be cool as. Thanks for all the congratulations, guys.
I threatened to make him a brass play button. Because he's when you get up to 100,000, or you get these milestones in subscribers on YouTube, you have to actually apply for these play buttons, and they have to review it and everything like that. And he's damn well earned it. So I'm going to make him one out of brass, probably out of 38 specials. So while I've been sitting here watching this live stream, I've made myself up, or made him up, the AutoCAD basics for the play button. And I've got some Petrobond casting sand and a bunch of brass, and I think I'm going to make him an older style play button. And mostly because it's a little easier for me to do, but yeah, we'll have a go. And I've got some vinyl coated MDF out here that should do the job. It won't look strictly like a YouTube logo, or like it won't have colors on it, but it'll be enough to hang on his wall and give him something to do. So yeah, let's get cracking with this. Alright, so we're out in the infamous workshop with junk everywhere. It is slightly less junk filled than it was a while ago, but still got a lot of stuff to do out here. And I have to clear my casting area. This is my little furnace here. This is some of the material I'm going to use for making the play button. And it is a little bit curved because it's been stored incorrectly. So whether or not that curve is permanent is going to be the interesting bit, and it appears it is slightly, so we'll have to work around that somehow, but we should get a good sheet out of the top here. I also need to work out how I'm going to go about melting brass. I'm going to give it some thought. My brain is not working at the moment, and I've been put under the pump. It's also very windy today, so I'm going to have to work around some of that. You can see here, like, this is all blowing in, all my vent tubing and everything. So I'm going to give it some time just to get my head organized, and then we'll move on with the project.
1 hour later.
Alright, so we've got our design loaded up on the computer there. I'm going to do a couple modifications. We're going to feed it to the laser cutter, but because these sheets are bent and warped, and they're too big for the cutter, sitting one on a chair here, and I'm going to screw the board down to my spoil sheet, get it leveled out, and that should get it nice and clean. So been in a bit of a hurry, and in the process I tripped over some stuff and injured myself and my leg and stuff. So I've just had to take a moment to stop and slow down. I've really been burning the candle at both ends lately, so alright, let's continue on, but at a slower pace.
1 hour later.
Alright, so I can do one of these at a time. So I did have the thought that maybe I'm going to do the border first as a test run, then I'm going to do this piece, but I've got everything really nicely secured and flat and level, so I think I'm going to try this bit first. So we're going to delete this bit, and I'm taking a bit of creative license here with the YouTube logo. I've hatched that in there, even though it's not an official YouTube thing. Alright, now we're going to plot it, not print it. We need to change a couple of settings. For one, we probably don't want it 2 mil off the corners. We need to figure out how far in I've put these screws, which we move this over. I'm probably going to go 20 mil in from the corners. It's a bit wasteful, but I'm going to go 20 mil in from the corners. It's a bit wasteful, but I'm probably going to go 20 mil in from the corners. It's a bit wasteful, but I'm probably going to go 20 mil in from the corners. It's a bit wasteful, but I'm probably going to go 20 mil in from the corners. It's a bit wasteful, but I'm probably going to go 20 mil in from the corners. It's a bit wasteful, but I'm probably going to go 20 mil in from the corners. It's a bit wasteful, but I'm probably going to go 20 mil in from the corners. It's a bit wasteful, but I'm probably going to go 20 mil in from the corners. It's a bit wasteful, but I'm probably going to go 20 mil in from the corners. It's a bit wasteful, but I'm probably going to go 20 mil in from the corners. It's a bit wasteful, but I'm probably going to go 20 mil in from the corners. It's a bit wasteful, but I'm probably going to go 20 mil in from the corners. It's a bit wasteful, but I'm I think I definitely need to, at this point, because it's sort of trophy kind of stuff, we definitely need to be a little wasteful for the sake of the end product. Alright, 20mm in. You can see the area on the bed where it will cut there. That's pretty good. And it will cut 90 degrees out from what we've seen there. Alright, now, normally when you would open this door, it wouldn't turn the laser on. But there's a couple of magnet switches here I've overridden with some magnets. Alright, this stuff is, let's have a look here. This is 3mm stuff. For 3mm, I need to wind my power, my speed down a little bit. That one, edit, and in the raster settings, 0.7 is going to cut all the way through. We need to go about probably 38% speed. Look at there. I know it sounds awfully specific, but it's through experience that I've done that. So here we go, 37, 38 was smart act. Vector setting, we're going to come back to 0.6. Alright, okay, let's get this running. Okay, so our backing is done. We need a little bit of cleaning up, but that's easy to do. And that pops out. That's going to become the master. I'm going to pop this bit out. I'll cut another piece and layer it on the back. And that'll become our master for the mold. This will become our backing. We'll have another piece on the back. And the brass will slot into there. And then we'll cut a frame. Alright, we've completed our cutting, which means we can go over here and shut some things down. Where are we? Oh, now I can have a quiet workshop again. Okay, let's take these inside. We'll clean up the edges a bit and do a bit of assembly. Get our master assembled, then we'll look at our brass. Alright, so we're back at the desk and we've got a few things to do. So number one, this is going to be our master. These two pieces are going to go together and I'll use that to make the sand mold, and then I'll be pouring brass into it. And that should mean that the end brass object should sit about 3mm above the surface here. And we've got our backing piece, then we've got our intermediate piece, and then we've got our frame on the front. That should all look very nice. So to give you a bit of a simulation of that, we'll assemble this loosely and put it in front of the camera here. So that will go in, that will go there, and this will go there. We'll bring our camera around. So we'll see, it'll look something like that, but if you imagine this will be brass and hopefully shiny. So, and then I'll find a way to hang it on the wall. I don't know how I'm going to do that yet. Anyway, that's what we're going to end up with. Okay, so now that we've had a bit of a play around with it, let's get back to business here. So those two bits, we don't care too much about how they look, and this rear module we're not too worried about. There's a bit of vaporized material on here that we want to clean up, particularly around these edges and the text, and around this outer frame. So I think we're going to start with the frame first, being the least, or the easiest to replicate and the least likely to damage. I'm going to take some generic spray and wipe from Aldi and a cotton workshop rag. I buy these by the bag at about 5 kilos a piece. Now, rather than spray directly on this stuff, I'm going to spray on the rag. I'm going to give the rim a bit of a wipe. We'll see if we can get some of this yellowing off the edge. That looks like that's going to work really well. Okay, and you can see the stuff that's coming off. Normally I wouldn't worry with a project like this, but this one specifically, because it's going to be like a display piece, looks are actually important. Yep, we're starting to build up some gunge on the rag, so we'll flip over and give it a little bit more of a wipe down. And we'll start gluing. Alright. I like this timber, it's nice to work with. Alright, that should be good. Okay, let's see what we can do with the other piece. Now this is the important piece. We're going to choose a nice clean part of the rag here. A little bit of a spray. We're just going to go gently across this because we don't want it to absorb in there too much. We want to get a lot of this off here. And a little bit of gunge on there. We'll try around the edge here. Probably need a little bit more and a clean bit of the rag for that. We'll go around here. Make this look properly good. Don't really need to worry about this stuff because it will be covered up, but it may affect the gluing process a little bit. Alright. So it looks good. Alright. That is looking much cleaner than it was. Cool. Alright, we've got our pieces cleaned. Now, I had planned on using a wood glue for this, but I'm going to use a super glue or a cyanoacrylate glue. This stuff is starting to go a little bit gelatinous, I think. I do have a fresh tube of this somewhere, because this one is just about had it. I probably don't have enough for the job. I don't. Where's my new tube? Brand new tube of the stuff. This is quality stuff. Now, if I use a wood glue, it tends to squish out the sides. So at this point, I really only need this to just hold together. So I'm going to try just some strategic drops in here, and the moisture out of that that surface spray I've used might actually help it to go together a little bit better. Now, in this case, you really do only get one shot at it, so we want to get this nicely aligned and carefully so we might stick it down on the table to at least get that side done properly. We'll hold it for a few seconds.
One eternity later.
Alright, feels like it may have bonded there. Alright, now which was our new tube? The old one, that's our new one. Okay, this one can just get turfed, and I'll do a trip to Bunnings later on. Okay, so that is our master. What we're going to do, we'll pack that into a Petrobond sand mold soon. I'm really hoping that this play bit comes out nicely. I may get in with a knife and cut just a little bit of a taper in there to help that. And that would be in keeping with how the real ones look anyway. So, yeah, I might work on that a little bit, and we'll be back. Alright, now for the bits that make me nervous. Is this. Now, I reckon I can bump it up against the edge of the bench there to try and get things nicely aligned. And I think I might find something else nice and square to wedge in that corner just to help it work. This old SSD might provide a nice square reference for that. Or not quite. What else have I got? My magnetic tool might do here. That should get it nice and square. Okay, now I've got an idea on how I'm going to align things. And I have learnt from the super glue method that single drops will indeed hold it. So we'll do this. This one's got to hold on considerably better, so we're going to use a lot more of it to hold this together. Whether or not this is going to hold up to the weight of the brass is going to be an interesting question, but I think I can probably do something about that later on. This stuff is pretty strong stuff when used appropriately. We might, because we're going to be having a fair amount of surface area, we might just try and exploit some more of that surface area here. Do this. Alright. See how we go here. We'll bump up against the corner here. Now that I know I've got a couple of seconds to slide this around, I know that it'll be good. Oh, and I've put glue across here. That won't matter so much. I misjudged that area because I'm going to glue the brass into that recess anyway. So I'll just wipe that. But yeah, now this one needs to sit with some significant weight on it for a while. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to do the frame and then we'll put everything on.
A few moments later.
And this is the absorbent side, so I need to work relatively quickly. Alright, let's bump everything up here. Let's take our frame and flip over. Bump up against the backstop here and drop down as accurately as we can. And then get this nice and square. Alright. Now we try and hold this down for a few seconds. Glue that down, and then we'll find something nice to sandwich this all together with. Alright, we'll be back in a little while.
Eventually.
Alright, so next step, there's a couple of arrowheads I made a while ago. The next step here is to take this piece and give it a good sanding and put some bevels on it. I've run a knife around here to make a bit of a bevel. Hopefully that should come out of the sand mould a bit better. But we need to make this nice and smooth because the lip between these two might cause the edge of the sand mould to collapse when we drag it out. So, got a bit to do here.
2 hours later.
So, you can probably see where we've finished sanding here. It's nice and smooth around the edges, and we've put a little bit of a bevel along here. It actually feels very nice. It'll actually be good if we can get it done that way. I should have probably left a hole in the back here that I could pick it up with, like put a screw in to lift it out. So I'm thinking about doing something like that. It'll make it getting out of that mold a whole lot easier. So we might just put a little hand drill hole in there, just to make lifting out a little easier. Other than that, we're about ready to make the sand cast. Alright, so surefire sign I've had rats in my shed. They've been crapping in my Petrobond sand. That's really irritating. Right, I've got to scoop this out before I can start. Yes. It worked. Alright, don't touch it anymore. Oh, I got it in. Nerve-wracking stuff, this. Now we're going to melt some brass. Now what this is going to be made out of is 38 special brass. A lot of these have got cracked necks. So, and some of them have got a chrome finish, but we're going to use the ones without it to start with. And I'm using some brass that I have previously melted. And so hopefully, when this gets up to temp, we'll have enough to do the pour. I've got some blanks from 5.56 Minimi machine guns in here too. But I'm just using 38 specials for this one, because I've got the most of them. Yeah, this is going to take about an hour to warm up. Alright, so we've just shot past the 900 degree mark. We're about 970 now. Should be starting to melt. We want to see if we can poke some of this stuff down in there that hasn't dropped in. I probably don't have the right tool for this. But this is what happens when you don't crush them. They don't fall in properly. It's certainly glowing red hot down there, so hopefully we can get these guys to drop in at some point. Alright, well we're still glowing red hot. I've just jiggled the last of the brass in there. I'm going to give it a minute or two, and then we're going to do the pour. It'll be good stuff. Hopefully I have enough brass in there. I have no idea. It was pretty difficult to measure the volume of what I was doing. So see how we go, and I have an hour left at this point. So yeah, I'm going to sit for a couple of minutes and then we'll do this pour.
More moments later.
Alright, we're officially at 1100 degrees. That's as hot as this furnace goes. So I guess here goes nothing. Alright. Here we go. Oh. It didn't come out the other vent hole, so I might have been short on brass. But too late now, we'll find out if I had enough. I'll let this dry out for a bit. That's going to boil for a while. I'm going to stand back and get out of the way. I may have been significantly short on brass, which will be frustrating if that's the case. Yep, that is solidly in there. Did I have a... Yeah, it's full through to sand in there. We failed, guys. Gonna have to start again. Let's see. Yeah, nowhere near it. No. I need a bucket load more brass than that. And I buggered me mould up. Sometimes it works out, guys, sometimes it doesn't. Today's one of them days where it didn't work out. Alright, so the brass idea is a bust. My mold is done for because it was only just big enough. And as a result of this cast, I now don't have enough Petrobond casting sand to try again. I need to order more. I was going to present this thing this afternoon, so I might consider plan B. I have some of this nice reflective acrylic. Oh, and my computer's complaining about something. Yeah, keep going. Alright, so I have a couple of sheets of this stuff, some new stuff kicking around. I might cut a couple of layers of that, and it should look the part. Enough. Well, Mick is pretty accommodating to these things, he'll understand, but I'll have a crack at a brass one later on. He's just told me he's ordered his genuine one, so this will be nice as a bit of a gift anyway. Alright, so I'm going to fire up the laser and the compressor again, and I'm going to cut some of this. Engraving on the back here, not quite centralized. You probably can't see it. Let's change lenses. Okay, you can probably see the engraving now. It's not strictly centered, but it's on the back where you won't see it. Now I'm going to do something really dodgy here. I am going to stick this in with a bit of blue tack, largely because I intend to, let's move our camera here, I intend to make him a genuine brass one in the near future. So this will be removable with the intention of fixing a genuine brass one here very soon. Alright, here we go. Which way around does that play button go? That way. Okay. Here we go. This should fit into the recess nicely. Okay, not bad for plan B, but it should work. And yeah, we'll have a genuine brass for him. Genuine brass one for him soon enough. I am exhausted after this. It's been a hell of a day for me, and I'm doing well to have produced this. Alright, we'll have to present this to him soon enough. Alright, let's I hope you enjoyed this one, and hopefully we'll get a reaction video out of Mick. And yeah, hopefully I'll buy some more brass and some casting sand and all the other stuff we need. I have some silver to cast as well, which I'm working on, and some of you guys will have seen my community posts about that. But I have silver and I have opals and a really nice opal triplet. I'm gonna definitely need new Petrobond casting sand for that. And it is a mega windy day today. I'm watching my windows bow in the wind. Alright, so see you all in the next one. and hopefully I have a bit more success with the casting when I try that too.